Morning, Nadine. All right, good morning, folks. We'll start today with introductions, and I'll just call on you as I see you. And I will make notes at the same time. And I'll start with me. I'm Teresa McDonald, and I'm the board of Derita Statesville Road Community Organization, and also a realtor with Allen Tate. And I also am on the Ordinance Advisory Committee for the city for the Unified Development Ordinance that you're going to be hearing about. I don't have a ton about that in this meeting, but if you do have any questions, please reach out, because that is going to become more prominent as they're about to release the draft UDO, and then there'll be several months of public comment. All right, introductions. We got one more person. I've got to keep an eye on the waiting room. All right, Nadine, why don't you go first? Quick introductions.
Good morning. My name is Nadine Henry. I live in the Sugar Springs development. I have my business, Affairs to Remember. I'm an event planner, and that's about it.
Thank you, Nadine. Mel, you're next. Mel Renner, you're muted.
That's
Yeah,
not good.
You'll
Okay,
have to unmute yourselves because I muted everybody.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, Mel Renner, I'm the longtime HOA president of the Forest Pond community and serve also as a board member on the Derita Statesville Community Organization.
Welcome, Mel. All right, Shirley, you're next. You're muted. You guys will have to unmute yourselves.
You know how quickly my memory goes away.
That's okay.
I'm Shirley. I'm the president of the Greenleaf Village community. What else do you need? And actually, we're going to have our meeting tonight, Teresa, at the church. So hopefully we can get some things done. We've got some issues going on. But anyway, I'm trying to help everybody out on this side of the community to help keep things under control, clean, and all that, crime free and that kind of thing. So been around a long time, just like Teresa and Sylvia.
Thank you, Shirley. All right, next I've got Simpson. Sorry, I don't know. You have to introduce yourself. You show up as Simpson.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Outstanding. My name is Jeffrey Simpson. This is my second time with you. I was invited by, I guess, another member of DSRCO. I am the HOA president of the Farmington Owners Association, and we're on off of Hubbard. And there's several other things I do, but I won't get into all that. But I'm supposed to be retired, but I guess that didn't work. So so no, and the HOA president, I'm also involved in a couple of things citywide with regards to the CRC, which stands for the what does this stand? Community Relationships Committee, and also I'm on the board of what's called the Citizens Review Board. So there's a little bit of activity on my part, as well as now I'm back into my business, and with regards to being an independent broker of health insurance, and that's pretty interesting with all the changes going on with regards to Medicare. Anyway, so much for that. But primarily the reason why I'm on here and with you, I find it very interesting, by the way, it's my second time with you, is that I'm president of the HOA, and I find the information that you've been sharing so far to be of much interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Well, we'll call on you to report back on some of those city committees and boards that you're on, because that's interesting to us as well. But not right now. I'll understand what you can, what information you can convey to us, and we'll include it in the future.
I'll be glad to.
Okay. Marion, you're next on my screen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marion McMahon. I'm a member of a board member for the Michael's Landing community over here on the outer edges. And yeah, I've been here a while. It's good to see everyone. Nothing new to report at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, Marion. Sylvia, you're up.
Sylvia Cannon, president of Allen Hills, Cary Hills Community, also president of Derita Statesville Road. And by the way, Jack said he would be with us in just a few minutes. He's now joined.
Here. Yes.
Teresa is doing a wonderful job in putting all of this together for the businesses, and she also serves on the board for us. So welcome everyone, and we'll see what we come up with.
All right, Larry, you're next up. Larry Logan.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Larry Logan. I'm the secretary for the Harrington Woods Homeowners Association. I'm a retired banker and retired educator, and echo some of the sentiments before that this particular gathering does generate some very interesting information that's very helpful for us new board members.
Great, thank you, Larry. Vincent Evans.
Morning, everyone. My name is Vincent Evans. I am the president of the Potter's Glen community here on Sugar Creek. I have been on my board for as long as I've been in the area, so it's about 6 years. And yeah, I attend when I can.
Great, thank you. David Oliver. Oh, you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. It's David Oliver in the Oak Hill community, right off of Sugar Creek, not too far from Mr. Evans. I've been a part of my board for about 17 years, and I value the information that's provided at this meeting so that we can do better in our community and help also in the Derita area as much as we can to make it thrive and help our community as a whole grow.
Thank you, David. Dawn Gibson.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dawn Gibson, one of the concerned citizens over here in the Derita Tanglewood area. And I have been back home from the Cincinnati, Nashville area for a little bit. And it's been crazy busy over here, but I am so glad to be able to join you this morning and see all the faces. And I agree, Miss Sylvia, Miss Teresa has been keeping us informed. And I see Miss Shirley up here and some of the others I recognize. So good morning and have a great one.
Good morning, thank you. Okay, Dr. Blanche Penn, thank you for joining us. You'll have to unmute. There you are.
I'm sorry, thank you. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. We're doing quick introductions.
Oh, okay, I'm in the Great Oak area off of Sugar Creek, and been around for over about 30 years in that particular area. And I used to live in the Tanglewood area. So thank you for letting me be a part of this meeting.
Great, thank you. Good to see you. Pam Howard.
Good morning, Pam Howard. I am in the Crater Park neighborhood off Gibbon Road. My second time sitting in on this meeting, and I've been here about 28 years.
Thank you. Good to see you. All right, Jack. Jack Brosh. Jack, are you able to do a quick introduction? All right, let's go to Charlene Henderson.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody?
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Charlene Henderson, and I am the precinct chair of 82, and that is in Hidden Valley area and part of Old Concord Roads, part of Eastway area over in that part. And I'm excited to be a part of the breakfast meeting today. And I think it's important that we stay unified, stay connected, because it's a lot of things happening in our area, especially the redistricting. And I don't know if you all know that they're trying to take precinct 26, 82, and 42 out of that area and put it in District 1. That's part of some of the plans that they're drawing up. And I want to make sure everybody know what's happening, because that's a weakening power of votes. So again, I'm thankful for being here. If anybody have any questions, please make sure that you reach out to me. And I'll greatly appreciate talking to you.
Thank you, Charlene. Yes, we do have redistricting on the agenda here very shortly. So,
okay.
Thank you. All right. I've got somebody who's showing up as iPhone. I don't know who that is.
Okay, that might be me. I'm Wanda Sinclair.
Hey, Wanda. Yes,
How
that's
you doing? How are you?
good. Thank you. We're just doing quick introductions. Are you still in the Derita area?
Well, I'm about to, I did move from Poplar Springs. Me and Wesley moved back in, I'm trying to remember when we moved.
That's okay.
I can't even remember. It's been a few months ago, but we're still connected to Derita, which is probably 2 miles away, and still interested in what's going on. And I like these meetings because where we live off of W.T. Harris, and I've already been in touch with North Carolina DOT and the city of Charlotte with some concerns we're having about the W.T. Harris corridor, with all of the littering and the maintenance of the road. So far, a couple of phone calls, emails we've done have already gotten some things started. So just
Great,
wanted to.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh, I see a couple of people in the waiting room, and I think that's everybody.
I think Jack is connected.
Jack, do you want to introduce yourself? He's got 2 connections going here. Jack? Jack, would you like to make an introduction real quick? We're just finishing up. Jack and Carrie are both having trouble connecting, it seems. Jack is on the Derita Statesville Road Community Board as well. And Carrie is joining us from Avalon Townhomes. She is on the HOA. And then I am going to start sharing my screen. And the first thing we are talking about is the redistricting. And let's see. Just a little primer if you didn't know, or don't remember, but these are the city council districts, the way they're currently laid out. Derita is over here. It's not super defined, but 77, 85, and then Harris Boulevard kind of comes over here. So some of these precincts.
Your screen is not sharing.
Yeah, there's no screen
My
share.
screen is not sharing?
No, we're still seeing you. Teresa, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because it was showing me that host was not allowing me to unmute, but got it worked out. So yeah, but we're seeing you.
Okay, hang on a second then. Let me just go try to figure that out. Ugh. Okay, oh, I see. I haven't picked a thing. All right, I didn't complete that process. Okay, you can see it now?
5 by 5.
Yep.
And it's not in presentation mode, but I don't know if I care about that. Can you see it okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I was just pointing out where Derita is on this map, 77, 85, and then Harris Boulevard tracks along here somewhere. So precinct 26 is this over here. This is District 1, the pink, which Charlene was just talking about. And District 4 is the yellow, and District 2 is this over here. Those are the main districts as far as Derita goes, and the redistricting. Next slide. That's a more detailed version. I was hoping that the redistricting would end up with Derita all being in the same district, but that's too much to hope for. And I don't know what the chances are of really influencing anything. That the ad hoc committee has already suggested 4 draft plans, and each plan does something slightly different. Plan A doesn't really change any precincts in Derita. Plan B is calling for moving 211, which is over here, and it overlaps. It's not just Derita, but moving 211 from District 2 into District 4. So that will become yellow. Plan C moves 146. That's over here into District 4, so it would become yellow. And then Plan B it's confusing, sorry. It's confusing to me. There are 4 different plans, and so I've put it in several different ways. How, what's happening to each precinct by plan, and then by plan, what's happening to the various precincts. So District 1, this might help us. This is the reason why we're doing the redistricting. The state statutes requires that the districts are roughly equal in population. And you can see how they're kind of out of whack, because districts have gained population, especially District 3 and 4 and 2. But, and then others have lost population. So that's the point, is to try to get everybody to around 125,000. Here's some details on the changes, just really Plan B and Plan C that I focused on. Plan B, it talks about moving 26 into District 1, which Charlene was just talking about.
No, on the computer.
And 82. 82 is the other precinct that Charlene mentioned, which is Hidden Valley. Looks like Hidden Valley might be divided into 2 precincts as well, if I'm reading that correctly. So Plan B moves precinct 21 into District 1 and 211 into District 4. I'm sorry, it's currently in District 2. And then Plan C moves 26 into District 2, but it moves 146 into District 4. So that's the nuts and bolts about the moves. I'm interested in anyone's opinions. If what you think. I don't think that any part of Derita really makes sense to be in District 1. 85 is a big barrier, but that is also a barrier between us and Hidden Valley. So I'm not too sure. Hidden Valley is undergoing all the changes because of the light rail that makes it more similar to District 1 in my mind. Talking about changes on the ground, development changes. Sorry, I don't know where some of that noise is coming from. And then, yeah, so to me, my opinion, it makes more sense for 26 to be part of District 2 versus District 1. District 2 or 4 seems to be the better fit for Derita. I would like to see it all be in one district, but I think it actually has some advantages to be in 2, because potentially we have two reps. And I did get a call from our current rep for District 4, which is Renee Johnson. And as you know, she joins these meetings, and she is a very responsive and very conscientious representative. And she assured me that most of the councillors do think a little more holistically than just their district. Obviously, they're elected by their district, so they can't ignore that fact. But her point was, even if we move into District 2 or District 1, she's not going to forget about us. So,
Teresa, are you going to be able to include links to some of this information when you send this out?
Come on, dude.
yes, I will.
Yes,
I will.
Thank you.
Trust me, I'll include the links, because every time I have to Google to find this stuff, it drives me crazy, because it's not easy. Well, Google helps you find it, but don't try to find it on the city site by searching the city's website. So yeah, anybody have something to add to that? I guess I'll go to Charlene. Certainly, I would love to hear what you have to say about that. Thank you. You'll have to unmute.
Okay, again, thank you for the opportunity. And I know a lot of you have not seen me, even though we're right next to each other. I've been working very diligently with Hidden Valley and the other area, especially precinct 42 and 82. And I'm the new chair, so I bring a lot of energy and I bring a lot of community awareness. And that's my goal, is to make sure that individuals, communities, citizens, residents know what's going on. So when you dress things up and make it pretty, and you send out a lot of information that you have to weed through, try to maneuver and try to understand, you know, there's a bigger picture in this whole thing. And by Hidden Valley being one of the largest precincts that votes, that have a pool of voters that are voters that are powerful when it comes down to voting, by hell and high water, they're going to vote. It's imperative that we understand that when you have council members and ad hoc committees that are utilizing their opportunities to vote and cut and go around and create and pull out and push, we have to really look at what are they doing, because there's three plans, A, B, and C. And we have to really look at the pool of voters, the power of the votes. African Americans are on this area very heavily. And if you allow someone to draw us out and put us in a district where there's predominantly non-African American, so it waters down our power. It waters down the fact that we do not have a voice, and it's going to really be detrimental that we continuously hold on to that. I'm one that's very vocal in areas, and I just wanted to make sure you know, just because your representative who, we don't get her. So if you get her, that's great. I am yet to see her talk to precinct 42 and 82. So we may be getting something different, but when she says she will not forget about us, well, she hasn't been around. And, you know, from what I'm seeing, I'm maybe seeing something different. So please forgive me.
Sorry, just let me clarify real quick. What district
Yes,
are
ma'am.
you currently in?
I'm in District 4.
You are
And
in
this is-
District 4?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in
Okay.
82. I'm the chair of
I know,
precinct
it
82.
looks from the map that you're actually in District 1, but maybe I'm totally.
Thank you. No, but these are just drafted
Yeah.
up plans. So right now,
No, I know. That's where I'm going wrong, probably. And
Yeah.
I don't have that detail. Okay, never
Yes,
mind.
ma'am. Okay, no worries.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I live in Hidden Valley, and I am there to represent those individuals who are there who are concerned, very concerned citizens. And I want to make sure that we understand what's taking place. If we leave out and go into a district where we're unfamiliar, that's like taking seniors out of a senior home and putting them into a place that they don't understand. And once you don't understand it, you will lose you'll lose your your bandwidth of living, and then you'll be forgotten because people are still hustling and bustling. If you know Center City, that's NODA, down uptown. They call it uptown now. I'm a citizen here. They call it uptown now. And these older people don't mix with NODA, the Center City, and you know that it's a banking industry. It's all of these things that does not include 42 and 82 and 26. So it is imperative that we look at that map, look at the voting history, and understand that we need to stay in District 4 where they understand they have partnerships and collaborations, and we're moving. But we can't, if you take us out, it's going to be a problem, and we're going to be for real lost and forgotten. And Renee Perkins Johnson know that I have been on her about getting back into what she said she was going to do, because it's called accountability. So you can talk pretty, but if you don't see your representative, half of us don't know who the representative is, that's a problem for me. And so I'm just saying, and I don't want to be, I'm very passionate about my people. I'm passionate about community. And if you're not doing what you said you're going to do, I'm part of the African American Caucus, where I'm the chair of the Elected Official Accountability Committee. And I'm holding these elected officials accountable for what you're doing. And I don't appreciate the fact that you're not supporting and giving the information to the community, which are really being affected. So I'm here to, if you have any questions and concerns, I'm here to make sure that those questions and concerns get addressed. But pay attention to these maps, people. I don't know who all on the call. I'm just talking to whoever is listening, and y'all see concern. Please study those maps. Please see the voting blocks and see how this thing is affecting us as a people. And I'm a brown girl, so it's affecting me very drastically because I'm not in Center City. I'm on District 4 right now. I'm on Mallard Creek and Prosperity. That's where my business is. Been here forever. And I don't want to be part of something that I do not know anything about, period. And if you can tell me how we're going to mesh and how we're going to be able to collaborate and partner up with each other, then by all means, let's come to the table. But do not push me or force me into an area that I have no idea of what's going on, how it operates. And these old people need to be able to thrive. Older people, seniors need to be able to thrive. So thank you again for the opportunity, Ms. Teresa. Again, I'm here and open for any questions or concerns.
Thank you.
Real quick,
Yeah,
if I may.
Jack.
Just to let you know a little bit, my name is Jack Rosh. I am on the board of the Derita Statesville Road Community Organization, and I had the privilege to actually run for Congress in 2012 under the old districting, when District 12 was listed in Wikipedia as one of the most 3 gerrymandered districts in the country. So I know a little bit about districting, redistricting, and some of the efforts that are there. And I think Ms. Charlene and I would definitely agree on the importance of being aware of what the changes of redistricting means to you personally. But I think one of the things you need to be aware of is that the first and foremost goal of redistricting is to standardize, if you will, the population of the different districts. So when you say keep district such and such in, or keep precinct such and such in district such and such, you got to realize that means you're going to leave something else out, because your goal, your number one goal, according to the law, is to standardize the representation of that precinct in that district. Now, both parties, on a political perspective, both parties have used this process rather extensively to either maintain or extend their power. And I suffered under it rather substantially because of the fact that District 12 was gerrymandered to be a Democratic district. So a lot of times that colors the process. Now, I also have been one of the, I will use the term generally, but one of the sick individuals that have actually read 3 or 4 master's thesis on redistricting and the concepts that are included in there, and the whole process of going through automation and being able to designate the rules of redistricting as a way of removing the partisanship of the process. Some of those rules can be geography, making sure that, as Ms. Charlene mentioned, that the demographics of a certain area are maintained. Age, ethnicity, income are just a couple of those demographics that they look at. And when you put those rules into a computer, the computer doesn't care about anything beyond the rules. So it's the process of rule creation that drives the redistricting. To give you an example, there are 2 main definitions of gerrymandering. One is distance to a central point to all outer points of a district. The second one is the total dimensions of the outer lines of the district. Those 2 can be in a lot of contention with each other as to what is or isn't gerrymandering. So when you look at that, and you got to look at it holistically, I agree with Ms. Charlene that frequently districting is done to basically eliminate power by concentrating certain demographics in certain districts, where if you've got 55, 57, 60% of a certain demographic in that district, it doesn't matter what you do beyond 60%. It's not going to change the power. All it's going to do is shift power from other districts into that district to concentrate, and I would agree, minimalize power in that district. So just kind of be aware of all the rules when you look at redistricting, and remember that when you say keep a certain precinct in a district, that means then it's kind of like, a fixed bucket of money. If you say give more money to somebody, well, that means you got to give less money to somebody else. It's the same concept in redistricting. When you keep a certain precinct, you got to let another precinct go. Just a thought for looking at this. And I do look forward to Teresa's links so that I can look at some of the population counts and demographic breakdowns. Thank you.
Thank you. Marion, you have your hand up.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I'm still getting more information on all this. I was able to catch the end of the ad hoc redistricting committee meeting the other evening. So, and that was interesting in and of itself. And I did not realize that this was going to be happening to the Hidden Valley precincts, that it looks like that council is determined to put them in D1, if I'm reading this correctly. I guess my question is for Charlene, and this isn't, I'm not expecting any particular answer here. The cynical part of me says that this goes to D1. Obviously, the reasoning, they're saying the reasoning they have to do these redistricts is to balance out the votes so your vote becomes more valuable. Because when you live in a district that is highly populous, your vote is actually watered down. So it should technically give you more power. However, I guess I'm looking at moving Hidden Valley's precincts into D1, and that just seems very much like you are basically putting them kind of between a rock and a hard place. I'd just like to hear, if I could, Charlene, what is your particular concern that you are going into a district and having a representative you are unfamiliar with and or don't trust, or is this more about I think D4 could be a very powerful block and we will be losing power? I'm a D4 and I'm staying D4. It looks like on the map I'm D2, but I'm actually right on the line and there's no interest in moving us. Is the idea that D4 and D2 together could be a very powerful block, but they're indeed moving it to D1, we are losing that power. I was just trying to understand what your bigger concern there is, if I could.
That is exactly right. When you look at those maps and how they're drawn to weaken down the power of the vote and to put the stronger power in D1 to help push their agenda. And I don't think that right now we're deprived. We're in an impoverished area that does not look like Ballantyne, does not look like Myers Park or Cotswold, or, you know, we're in a spot where we need the resources and the tools to help those people thrive. And if you take us out, that's the biggest voice over there right now that's screaming help. We need the resources. And if you remove it, then that's what's going to happen. It's going to be where we just forgotten for real. And it's just going to come on in, and they're going to continuously do what they're doing with the gerrymandering, with the redistricting, with all of the big hoo-ha words. And those people over there are going to be forgotten. But that's why I stepped up, and I recommend as many people as possible still step up and help, because it's important that they know we are fighting for them. So everything that you said, Miss is Marion, everything that you said is true. And everything that the gentleman said before that is true. So we have to fight to stay together. That's all I'm saying. I'm about unity in the community, and we have to fight to stay, you know, together and have a strong voice. So yeah, that's what's getting ready to happen if we just let it roll over. District 1, District 2, District, you know, whoever. We're one to stay in 4 where we can have some power.
So you feel the opportunity, there is a bigger opportunity in 4 for the Hidden Valley community than there is in 1 for them to actually.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And also District 1 is Larkin at this particular moment, Ingleston Larkin. Now he's getting ready to go for at large. And he is getting ready, well, he's putting someone in place to take his place. Well, he's supporting someone to take his place, someone who's never been there before, because Ingleston has been there. So they're partnering up. So he be at large, and the District 1 person take over District 1, and they can continue their agenda. So if you take me out of, and this is not why I'm on this call, but if you take me out of District 4 and put me in District 1, now I'm representing someone who is not of my color. And I do believe if we're in a district or precincts where it's majority of a certain demographic, I believe that there should be a person who runs or who leads that area that is of the same color. Because sometimes you're not going to be able to tell me what I need if you're from Myers Park, or you're from Huntersville, or you're in Cornelius, or you on the outskirts of my inner city. You won't be able to tell me what we need. What you're going to do is take the influence of the staff of the city and say, okay, the staff is recommending this, let's vote on this. And if we don't know what's happening, well, then guess what? We're going to go with what the staff says. And that's what they do. They go by what the staff has developed or come up with or read or whatever. But now we can't afford that, because they're not from us. They're not from our town. They're not from our city. They're not from our district. They're not from our hoods. So we need to have people that really truly represents our area to talk for us and to represent for us. And that's not what we're getting. And I'm so deeply disturbed about our representative, because I told her, I said, listen, I'm gonna be watching you. And if, a lot of you probably know me, I ran for city council in 2019 and I came in second, but that is neither here nor there. I told her, I said, listen, you're from Ohio. This is where you're from. And you came in because of the influences that you have, and you came in and won District 4. But I'm gonna watch you and see what you do for District 4. And if y'all could express to me some things that she's actually done that really help us be more, in a equitable place, upward mobility, creating jobs, giving resources to the people that they need, then by all means, I'll shut up. But if not, I'm going to continue to raise my voice and say, listen, I'm concerned about this. What can we do? So again, I get passionate. I'm sorry, Miss Teresa, just forgive me for that. But it's important that we keep our eyes on the prize, because Hidden Valley, that area over there is the prize. And those people they deserve better. They do.
I don't want to speak out of turn. Can you hear me, Teresa? Hello?
Sorry, I was talking and didn't realize I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, I think about it in different ways. To me, each city council district kind of has a center of gravity. And I don't think about it in terms of demographics so much as the economic activity and the development pressure and land, you know, land prices, housing prices, increasing, being a symptom of that activity in that district. So for us in Derita, we're not the center of gravity of District 2 or District 4 for that matter. So we've had to be loud to try to make sure that we don't get ignored. So from that point of view, Renee Johnson has been great. She has connected us with a lot of people. Now, there's a limit to what she can actually do in terms of all the things Charlene mentioned. City council, they don't create jobs. They don't, I mean, they give away money, I guess, in very simple terms. But anyway, that's, I see it as each district kind of has a center of gravity that gets all the attention, whether it's the private investment or the public investment. And my thought always for Derita and basically the crescent communities generally is that we should not be left behind as far as public investment goes, just because we're not organized and people do not have the time to be seen and heard all over the place and have political connections and wealth, you know, just a lot of disposable income and time to spend on these things. So I don't know, Marion, you still have your hand up. Do you want to say something more?
The only other thing I want to say, and then I'll take my hand down, is, you know, when I just look at those growth numbers, and you know, these districts as a grouping, if we could get organized, should be able to do a lot because we have the growth in the city. You know, that's where it is. That's why they're redistricting. Part of the reason, of course, we have the growth is we're among the last affordable places to live in this city. And you know, we should expect that over time they're going to take some of that off simply because the growth is going to keep happening. You know, this is going to be a struggle. We're probably, as a Derita, as a community, like obviously the city views where I live as University City, even though University City does not view where I live as University City. And they want me as part of the University City voting block. However, it's arguable my economic and living arrangement, not arguable, my living condition is much more dependent on Derita than it is on University City, regardless of how the traffic flows. So there's always, we are in the Sugar Creek corridor is, you know, with everything that's about to happen there, I do have big concerns that basically there are going to be 3 districts tied to the Sugar Creek corridor. And while it should be, we have more power, the problem is being able to get organized and hold those 3 reps accountable is going to be tough to all the things we want. You know, I've always been very impressed by this community of the way it can organize and get heard. But ultimately, when we're going to have 3 people we have to hold accountable in a voting situation, while it should be good, that could become cumbersome and difficult as far as organization. So I just hope we keep that in mind, especially as investment starts to come to Sugar Creek, that we're basically going to have 3 reps that we have to hold accountable and get things done for us. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hey, Teresa, I hate to jump in. Maybe there's something that I missed. I'm Jeffrey Simpson. If I want to take back a conversation to folks, and this also addresses to Charlene, I understand a little bit what's going on now. However, how do you fight? How do you make the change? How do you suggest the change? Are you saying go after the 3 representatives? What kind of fight do you want? Do you want something physical? Do you want something in writing? Maybe you can share that with me as to what effective way or strategy that could be used to effect change.
Well, I know for one, I am an advocate. I'm an activist and I stand with community. And when we see something that is wrong, that is not fair, because I'm about doing what's right and what's not popular is not where I am. I like to mobilize, I like to organize, and I like to make sure that we're fighting for what the right thing to do is. And if you see it, this is why I tell people you have to do your due diligence and you have to look at it. You have to read a little bit more than what people are telling you, because people will tell you anything and hope that you just be like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, that looks pretty. You know, the bright colors and all of that. But down underneath, it's something that we have to pull out the poison and deal with it. So it's about organizing, mobilizing, and making sure we have the right people saying, listen, we're not standing for this. We're pushing back on whatever, whether it's the county, the city, Board of Education. Because at this point, if we do not come together and one collective voice, our voice is it's like pouring water over the ground and it just seeps into the ground. But are we helping to fertilize it ourselves? Or are we just the water? Because we're the water, but it's going to take all of us to make sure that the ground is being fertilized the correct way to grow. But if you take the water away,
Thank you, Charlene. Sorry. I feel like it's becoming a bit of a campaign event here. Jeffrey, I was wondering if your question was specifically about redistricting. What can we do in this particular thing, you know, what is going on right now, the proposals and the different draft plans, how to tell City Council or the ad hoc committee your thoughts on these things.
Right. What if I had to bring this subject, which I will, bring it back to folks that I am surrounded by. The thing is, how do we bring about change? How do we voice these opinions or change of opinions? What is the right way, if there is such a thing, to do that? I'm just trying to figure out, how do you bring about these changes with the guys? Hey, we don't agree with moving these districts as proposed. How do you do that? Who do you talk to?
Yeah, well, I can tell you the chair of the ad hoc committee is Malcolm Graham. I don't know offhand who else is on the committee, but I would say that's the center of gravity where these things are being weighed up. And then, of course, to bear in mind everything that Jack says, that really, in theory, it should just be numbers. It's just population numbers, and the geographic district needs to comply. It can't be too fragmented or too spread over a wide geographic distance. And those, a computer could do that. Anyway, I will try to follow up with some specific action steps, but I would think, and if somebody else has other ideas, I would think that writing to the members of the ad hoc committee, and of course your own district rep, the mayor pro tem, the whole city council is going to have a vote on this at the, once they make a decision on the plan, I guess, or maybe they'll be voting between different plans. Not 100% sure. So, but city council is where you're gonna focus your efforts.
If I may real quick, Teresa, one thing I would suggest is call all the members of the city council, and you're going to get a response from those members who are not in your district. And I might propose that your response is, I understand that I'm not in your district, but you are on the committee to advise in redistricting, and as such, you represent all citizens of Charlotte. and petition each one of them for action that is congruent with how you want to see the redistricting process go. And that you definitely want, and I definitely agree with Charlene in this area, that you want to see the individual citizens of Charlotte have a voice in what happens with Mecklenburg, and in this case, the city of Charlotte going forward, because this process is going to direct policy for the next 10 years. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have anything to add? Then I think we can move on from this. It's a lot to think about for sure. And I'm grateful, Charlene, that you came on here today, because I was so focused on Derita, and we do not forget about Hidden Valley, because we do have more in common with Hidden Valley than we do with anybody else, because of our proximity and our Sugar Creek corridor. And you know, so it's given me a lot of new things to think about. So thank you. Anybody else got anything to add? Okay. The next thing I have is a fun item, and this is just an FYI. Nevins Inc., which if you don't know, is a nonprofit right here in Derita. They've been here for decades, and they missed the opportunity to do a fundraiser last year, but they are going ahead with their chili cook-off. It's a lot of fun. They're holding it at Noda Brewing Company, which is almost in Derita, probably one of the closest breweries to us. So I would encourage you guys to buy tickets and go along. There's usually several vegetarian options, as well as, you know, traditional and then creative. It's a competition. So there's probably 14 different chilies. Must like chili. So the links are here when I send out the slides. Otherwise, just look at nevinsinc.org and you will find a way to buy tickets. I believe the ticket's $25, and that includes a tasting of all the chilies as well as one drink. Very fun event, and very, you know, it feels good to support such a good nonprofit in our area. The next thing I have is we're coming close to the draft of the playbook that is going to be the final product from the playbook process, the Sugar Creek Corridor playbook process. Those of you that have been involved along the way with all the meetings and surveys and other activities, we'll get a bit of a preview October 21st of the playbook, the draft. And then soon it will be made public, and we'll looking forward to seeing what they've come up with. If you don't know, this process has involved a major study by the Economic Development Department of the city, as well as community input, business input, for the Sugar Creek Corridor, which is, it's a 3-mile study area. So with 3 sub-geographies, of which Derita is one, Hidden Valley area is another, and 85 Sugar Creek Interchange is the third. So be looking for that. Hopefully by next meeting, we'll have lots more to share on that. The next thing, I just wanted to put these in here because we've seen grading starting. Of course, some of this is old news. Griffith Lakes, these are just subdivisions that were approved, you know, from 1 to 15 years ago. So we're seeing the dirt moving. Griffiths Lakes, if you want to know much more about that, in our July meeting, we had a presentation from Toll Brothers, and you can go and find those slides, or the meeting for that matter, on our YouTube channel. Haven Ridge, this is where they have just started clearing and grading. This is across from Nevins School on Cindy Lane. So if you ever drive that way, that's what's happening over there. And then of course the townhomes, and if somebody can remind me the name of the townhomes, they have a very nice sign on Sugar Creek now, but I cannot remember what they're calling that community. Anyway, that's that large rezoning that we were involved in last year, I believe. Maybe I think it was last year. Also, we should start seeing things coming up out of the ground shortly.
Teresa, are you talking about the one across from the Cheshire Food Line, or are you talking about a different location about the townhomes?
No, these townhomes are off Sugar Creek, behind Royal Oaks, Sugar Creek and Cannon Avenue, so north of Graham Street, north of North Graham Street. So let me see if I don't know if I can just change a tab and you see my screen. So the this Griffith Lakes, I think, might be what you're talking about, where you across from Davis Lake, where you see all that construction happening.
No, it's a different one that's up if you continue up Sugar Creek.
Oh, the other
area.
side of Harris Boulevard.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
But that's
Okay.
Adrian. I just thought that might have been the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's not strictly Derita, but it is, it's single family homes. I haven't found anything that good that I can link to, but it's just a small infill development of about 20, I think, single family homes. Don't quote me on any of that, but
I think what you're talking about, Teresa, is there are actually condominiums north of Shops at Davis Lake, which is David Cox and whatever that
yes,
road is that goes into Davis Lake.
townhomes.
Townhomes, yeah, and those are surprisingly, if you want some kind of good news for the community, my understanding is the starting prices of those town homes is 300,000.
Yeah, that's
That's not gonna do anything for your low income housing. Let's just put it that way.
No, exactly. That 300,000 really is the new starter home price. It's hard because salaries have not even vaguely kept up with that kind of growth in house price. But Marion.
Yeah, no, the development you're talking about there on Sugar Creek, closer to 85, that one is called 15 Cannon.
15 Cannon.
By Tri Point Homes, all town homes, square footage between 14 and 1,700, between 2 and 4 bedrooms and 2-car garages at every unit. That's
winner. Thank you, Marion.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was looking for something to link to because I can't keep all that in my head. But 15 Cannon, I was going for Cannon 15 and couldn't find anything.
Tri Point Homes is the builder, and they have a website set up. So if you Google 15 Cannon Tri Point Homes, you can join.
I'll find it. Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll explain why I couldn't find it. So, yeah. Anyway, that is all coming, and the next thing I'll go on to rezonings, which I just keep this slide so that when we start seeing dirt moving, because it can take years from these approvals for dirt to actually start moving. So that slide is there, nothing has changed. Then we've got a couple of things going on in 2021 rezoning petitions. This one was approved. It's a small development. It's affordable senior housing right at Mallard Creek and Hubbard Creek Road. I don't remember offhand the units, but it's affordable senior housing. They were approved for their tax credits, if I'm not mistaken. So that rezoning is approved. I don't know when. Oh, there's 107 units, of which some will be set aside for affordable housing. These I don't know a whole lot about. There are commercial rezoning, small parcels on Statesville Road. These are kind of close to each other. This 21099 and 134. They're kind of close to each other. So I don't know a whole lot about those. We'll have to get some more information. The links are here, so you can see the location on the map, and you can see the basic, what the change is that they're requesting. But it doesn't tell you a whole lot about what might be coming there, as we're interested in, what is actually going to be the end product. This here was one that was withdrawn. I didn't understand the details on that. It's referring to another rezoning. So this was a small part of that rezoning that they were changing from multifamily to spa. And I'm sorry, I don't know all the details on that. Anyway, it was withdrawn, so I guess it's moot. What other update do I have? I'm going to go around if you've got community updates, but I do have one for us on Oneida Road in the Allen Hills, Kerry Hills, Cardinal Glen. People, Oneida Road. I did get a response from the engineer. That project is very delayed, and as we know all too well in Derita, when projects get delayed, there's a lot of finger pointing from the contractor to the utilities to the city. And that's pretty much looks like what we're dealing with over there, but they're saying their new date scheduled for road opening is October 29th. So that is the Oneida Road closing. And that work that is going on there that requires the road to be closed. I guess now maybe I'll just shoot through my updates and then we can go around and see what you guys have to share with the group. Some of these are older updates about the commercial properties. We did get some information on the old Rite Aid building, and I put the link there. It's going to be a senior healthcare center. Cole Memorial is definitely getting very close to demolition. They've removed the windows. Asbestos abatement has been completed.
Great, Teresa.
Yes, Sylvia.
As of yesterday, the church group that is going to do that informed a member that they were trying to finish up the financial end of demolition for the church, which they hope to have done within the next few weeks. And then demolition for the church would start shortly thereafter. And anybody that is interested, they are going to pull away a number of bricks for former attendees, and the cross is going to stay where it's at.
What about, do we have any update on the steeple? I know some people had indicated an interest in preserving that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Gina, do we know anything about the steeple? I know that some people had indicated an interest in preserving it.
There is a conversation going on with a person of interest, but no decision has been made. The windows are all out of the church. They are, I don't know what they're going to do.
Assuming you're talking about the stained glass windows, not the
stained glass is all out and saved.
Good.
I don't know what
Good.
they're going to do with it. I didn't ask that question when I talked to the gentleman.
Okay, so we can expect to see that church coming down here. Don't be shocked when that happens because it's definitely getting closer.
Yes, fairly quickly.
Yes. I don't think I have, I didn't really update anything on this slide. If you don't know, the old Harris Teeter at WT Harris is going to be a food line. That was confirmed. I think that's all I have as far as my updates go, guys. I wanted to just, oh gosh, I didn't update that slide. Oh, sorry guys. Back, nothing to see there. But I wanted to tell you that Derita home prices have gone up by 10% this quarter. I mean, this last quarter, third quarter over second quarter. 10% is a lot for a year. It is ridiculous for a quarter. So that's kind of a state of emergency. I mean, it's good for property owners if you're going to sell. You know, and I guess for your portfolio or something, but it certainly just raises the bar horribly for anybody trying to get their foot in the door into home ownership, which is the first step, of course, in
Teresa,
so many other things.
If I may, real quick, going back one concept, the old the currently vacant Harris Teeter at the corner of Sugar Creek or Mallard Creek and WT Harris becoming a food line. Do you know, is that going to affect any other food lions? Are we going to exacerbate the quote unquote food desert that we are experiencing on the southwest side of Derita?
I certainly hope not, but I don't know. So that would be a good question to try to get out of Food Lion.
Yeah, that might be an effort. I've heard that the one behind Dunkin' Donuts, whatever that corner, Graham Creek and Sugar Creek, I've heard that one's going to close.
You heard that?
It was just a rumor.
Yeah, I think people
unreliable source.
Yeah, I think that we've definitely got to confirm that, because
that Dunkin' Donuts is always
the most
busy.
natural question is, you know, does that mean the other one's going to close, and then that grows legs, and the next thing you're hearing from people that it is going to close.
Yeah, I would attribute it to a very questionable source. So
yeah, I would definitely wait to confirm that, because yes, I mean, there's no way we can lose that food line at North Graham and West Sugar Creek. That would leave a substantial desert. So yeah, we've got eyes on that. Joseph, you wanted to say something about that food line?
I just wanted to say about the Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, I'm an unreliable source too, but just my hunch is every time I ride by Dunkin' Donuts in the morning time, all the way up to about 1 or 2, it's especially in the morning.
Oh, you're breaking up horribly.
Just busy there.
I can't quite hear what you're saying, but you're saying that the Dunkin'
Right.
Donuts is not very well.
It's always busy.
Oh, it is always busy.
Always busy, yes.
Okay, well, no, that's good news. So I don't think, hopefully we don't have
but
to
I'm
worry about
unreliable too.
Yeah, sorry, you're breaking up horribly. I'm hearing every other word. I'm assuming everyone else has the same problem. Marion, did you want to say?
No, I just think what he's trying to say there is the businesses right there, that food line, all the businesses all right there stay busy. There is not a day part that you drive by, and part of that is because we just don't have anything else much in the corridor. And as Hidden Valley residents have told us, they actually come up from Hidden Valley to go there and to both that Dunkin' and that Food Lion.
Yeah.
So to have really lose either one of those businesses potentially would be very, very bad.
Yeah, I highly doubt that there's any talk of, as you say, it's very busy, and I don't think the people that shop there are going to be trekking to W.T. Harris and Mallet Creek for Food Lion. So, I mean, well, try to get some information, but I just highly doubt that Food Lion is at risk. All right, folks, we are at 10:16. So let me know if you've got anything that you want to add, any updates from your community that you want to share. Bear in mind, this is being recorded. So if you've got anything, any concerns, any celebrations. Oh, I can actually mention that we did get some attention in the newspaper. Charlotte Observer did a column about HOAs in the Derita area that are taking steps to limit the corporate investors buying into their communities, which is, I think I know a few of you guys on HOAs are considering stuff like that. So, all right. Does anybody have anything to say? Charlene, I see your hand up. I just want to see if there's anybody else who's, oh, I've got two hands up. Marion, okay. Anybody who hasn't said a lot besides me? Linda Johnson, you joined us. Okay, I see some hands up now. All right, folks, how about, who wants to start?
Well, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get out y'all way because I know I've been talking a lot. Just know that I did drop my email in the chat. And if you want to have a conversation or have more information, then please email me. I'll be I'll be happy to take, whatever questions and concerns you have. And let's begin to really mobilize, organize, and strategize about what we're going to do moving forward. We have a little bit of time, but time is as of the essence. And number two, October the 23rd, I'm hosting, where our organization is hosting a walk for solutions, a walk for awareness, and a walk just to get people back out into the community to talk to each other, to understand that without us, we will perish. God is first, but it's important that we walk for our health, because our health is our wealth. And then we also walk for solutions. So we will have different guests there. We will have screenings and all that good stuff. But our goal is to make sure we get out into the community, because we've been stuck behind our doors for so long. We're forgetting that we can talk to each other and we can see each other. And there's outdoors. So we're walking in distance, but we're walking together, united. So that's October the 23rd. It will be on Beatties Ford Road. Again, my email is in the chat. I can send you the flyer and any information. And if you want to be a part of it, by all means, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to have you along with us. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Marion, you're next. I'm just going to go in the order of the boxes that I see.
Okay. No, it's just a community announcement. We are having, Michael's Landing is doing a community cleanup this Saturday. The community was a recipient of a neighborhood matching grant. So we are trying to get volunteers out for that, for volunteer hours. It's going from 10 to 3 this Saturday. Everyone's meeting at the mailboxes that can participate. There will be food available around lunchtime. The idea is it's mainly going to be, we're doing litter cleanup and some minor repairs to things that most people can do. So that's what'll be happening. Again, that's this Saturday from 10 to 3. I'm not the direct contact in charge of that, but anyone can reach out to me if you have questions or interested, and I can get you to the person who's in charge. And again, that's 10 to 3 this Saturday at the mailboxes at Michael's Landing. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Marion. All right, Linda.
Good morning, everyone. I probably, you probably went over this already, but I came on with the map. I wanted to ask you about the property beside us on Graham. It's vacant. Do you know what the price is on that?
I'll have to get back to you with that answer. They have put together, it's a few different property owners and put together, I believe, a few acres. Some of its own business, one parcel is owned multifamily, actually. But yeah, I can get back to you on that, Linda. I don't know offhand. And I can't be trusted to remember.
Okay. And
So,
did you mention about what's going in that location at the Food Lion Center right there on Graham and Sugar Creek? They
yes,
doing renovation
a
there?
Rite Aid where they're doing some changes to the building. Yes, I do have that in the slide, and there's a link. It's archwellhealth.com.
Okay.
And it's a senior healthcare center. So I don't know much about them, but that's one of 2 locations in the Charlotte area.
Yeah, they just beginning to, I think they just coming into this area because I know they're doing a marketing campaign with us starting later in the month. And they with the senior center. So that's interesting there. I know that I heard Marion and then Charlene had mentioned a couple of community outreach. If they could send me an email or something like that, I probably could post that on our community calendar at the post to help get that message out there. Mhm.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's you have an online page that you maintain for community stuff. That's good.
Yeah, community events. Yeah, we do. Long as like there's long as there's no fees involved, then we'll post it there on our website. And lastly, we are having our annual sweet potato fundraiser, and the money goes towards feeding families during the holiday seasons here. So we're doing pre-orders. I'll send you the flyer information, Teresa, and you could circulate it with everyone. And we have like a fall festival day is November, I think 16th.
Are these physical like events that people go
Outdoors,
to?
yeah, outdoors, outdoors, yeah.
At your location?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. That's good to know. Be nice to let Royal Oaks people know they're right there. They can walk.
Yep.
Without getting killed on Graham Street or with Sugar Creek.
Oh, I just heard it's November 13th. November 13th.
Okay. Yeah, if you send me the details, I'll see if I can get that out to our list. All right. Thank you, Linda. Dr. Penn?
Yes, good morning and good evening, good night. I also work with Ms. Charlene Henderson in the community in a lot of different projects, and the one that she shared is a wonderful thing. So we're definitely going to be doing that on the 23rd. Also, I want to mention Oak Street Health. They're doing a lot of projects and things for our seniors, and I'll get that flyer information to you. And the one that Charlene Henderson is doing, we can get that flyer also to you, Teresa. And the other thing that I want to mention is that I am the new chairperson for Mecklenburg County Parks and Recreation. So if you need any information, anything's going on in your park, like Teresa's Park and Miss Elder's Park and all these different parks surrounding us, you can always give me a call because I would love for you to see what's going on in our parks, not only in our parks, also at our rec centers. And as we know, it's sometimes hard crossing the street to go to the centers. So we need to really start talking about where our children can go, because as you're already aware of, we got too much gun violence with these young people. So reach out to me, anything dealing with Mecklenburg County Parks and Recreation, because I am your new chair. I'm their new chair for right now. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Penn. That's wonderful to know, because I know Sylvia has always needing to reach out to people about our Allen Hills Park. And I'm not sure if there's any current issues there, but we'll definitely get in touch. Thank you.
Mr. Penn,
Mel.
can you put your information in the chat box, please?
Okay. Dr. Penn, did you hear that? Just if you want to put your contact information in the chat box, that would be great. And
Yes,
then
thank you.
Mel.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got Mel waiting to say something. Mel Renner.
Okay, yes.
Wait.
Sorry,
Hello.
I'm not sure with that. Yes, sir, Mel.
I'd like to mention that Forest Pond is having a community yard sale this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. This is not in any specific place. It's just community-wide yard sale from 8 to 12 this coming Saturday.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, Dawn, I see your name. I mean, your hand up. Dawn Gibson.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. This has been very informative, and I think you may have mentioned in previous meetings who may be involved in food deserts, but I'm interested to know who may have more information about that. And then there were others who spoke about putting their information or saying contact us. If you could put your information in the chat box as well, that would be great. But I'm very interested in about these food deserts in our community.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe Marion will have some more information. I know the city, or somehow food desert is defined as being not having an access to food, a grocery store, fresh food. And
Right.
less than a mile, maybe it's less, half a mile. So we're far from, we have a lot of food deserts by that, by that definition for sure. But yeah, hopefully somebody will volunteer. Otherwise, if you find any information and want to bring more to the next meeting, that would be great.
Yes, I would like to do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that would be great. And then, certainly it's on my radar to make sure that food line at North Graham and West Sugar Creek is not threatened, because that one is key really to, probably people travel a good 3 miles to get to that food line.
Yeah, I don't have any current information on like our food desert situation. I know I'm not aware of anybody actively working on it, and if I'm wrong about that, I'd love to know. I just know that most of the work that's been done on this in the city are by community and activist groups on the west side and off of West Boulevard, another food desert. So I'm happy to connect. I put my information in the chat box. I'm happy to connect with anybody interested in working on this, and I'm happy to help with that.
Great. Thank you, Marion.
All right, folks, I think we're pretty much at the end, unless anybody still has something to add. It's almost 10:30. It's a good time to wrap up. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. And this was a nice big meeting. I never did. I've got 16 now, and I'm not sure how many we had at the peak, but that's a pretty good attendance. We are going to have the first HOA, the neighborhood leaders evening meeting in October, and I'll send more out on email. And that's just something that we're trying to get the actual community leaders together at a different time of day. So it'll be somewhat duplicating this meeting, but hopefully get some participation from people who do not have the flexibility to spend 90 minutes on a Thursday morning. So thanks, everybody. I will see you guys next month. I will send out the slides and a link to the recording, and let me know if there's anything to follow up with. We also do have, you know, the redistricting is obviously something that we want to make our voices heard on that. I think we're all clear that we don't want to be in District 1 necessarily, because when you talk about center of gravity in a district, they have a very dense center of gravity in the Plaza Midwood Noda area. And it's hard to get any attention outside of those areas.
And Teresa, that was going to be the one thing that I asked, if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, I just won't worry about it. This is
better.
not, I don't, okay, good. I'm not going to talk long because I know you're trying to wrap up, but on this, one thing, and because I listened to a lot of this, I didn't hear us conclude that with like a clear ask that if we're going to be contacting people in leadership, what's our clear ask of these people. And so there might be some further some follow-up that needs to be done with some sort of working group to get that, because it'll be better from my understanding about things like this when it comes to zoning and asking for what you want. It's better when you have multiple people having you know, a clear vision of what they want, communicating the same message to. That's what gets better results with elected leaders. So I may be wrong, but I was just thinking that as a suggestion, and I'd be happy to kind of join in on some meetings with that sort of thing, if there were any. But that seems to be, if that's something that we're going to rally around, we should have some sort of messaging that we're all some basic points that we're all speaking to when we're reaching out to leaders.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sure that we have agreement, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we do have more than I realize, and a lot of people haven't said anything. But yeah, I just don't see part of Derita or even Hidden Valley. It's, you know, they're getting ready to face, they're already facing the major changes because of the major public investment that's been made in the light rail over there. So yeah, it seems to me they have a more urgent need than we do, but I don't want to say that we in Derita need to be taken for granted or forgotten just because we don't have those urgent developer pressures. We certainly have house.
We're next.
We're next, exactly. And actually, if you look at the housing prices, you can see it's already started. So yeah, hopefully we're really early on.
I'm just going to chime in, Teresa. I'm just going to chime in. It is best if you meet monthly and you're talking about certain things. Derita is right next to Hidden Valley. I mean, it's just a matter of time before whatever we're going through, you're going to go through it as well. So it would be best if this group of individuals that's on this call, because I don't quite know who everyone is if you do a raise of hand or you send an email to whoever is over this group and say, listen, we need to organize. Hidden Valley's right next to you. You can join in with Hidden Valley because we're speaking up and we're making sure that information is put out there about our discomfort and our concern with what's happening. So like I said, my email is in there. And if you would like to have further discussions with myself and our organization in Hidden Valley, because we have 3 different organizations, I would greatly appreciate it, because the more the merrier, the bigger the voice, the better impact that we can have. And if you are concerned with your community, it would just be best to join with those who are already fighting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say real quick, just to maybe do an email follow-up on this, Teresa. I think this is an important thing that has been highlighted, that And as I mentioned, our center of gravity should be that Sugar Creek corridor. Like we should be drawing some power from that. I would think, especially like I said, with new investment that is coming. And I'm very concerned that, and not to take away from Charlene, but if I'm looking at it from a more selfish point of view, if that bottom part is in D1 and D1 has that kind of leverage, which they often do with their other investments, then that means that's the part of Sugar Creek that might get some things that we don't get in the upper part of Sugar Creek. And I think it is probably within the whole community's interest that we try to remain more aligned. Like I said, it looks like they're kind of hell bent on putting a couple precincts in D1, which does break my heart. But I think that the one that the Ebenezer Baptist Church going to D1 to me just seems way off. So I am not in favor of that plan. I'll just go ahead and say that part out loud. So I think we need to try to maybe do some email follow-up and get some messaging around maybe what we're all thinking. But you know, if there are others, I would love to hear an argument of why people think that should be D1 within the community. But my thinking is that would not be advantageous to Derita to have that precinct go.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. District 1 is just it's a very urban district. It's completely different to the concerns that we have. So, all right. I will follow up, but I cannot lead up something like that in terms of trying to coordinate a message or you know, an action plan. So if anybody wants to lead that up, or you know, certainly let us know what you're doing, Charlene, and we can sign on if we agree, you know, something like that. But you guys
Marion,
connect
I would
amongst
love for you.
yourselves.
I'm sorry, Marion. I would love for you to be able to reach out to me. I did get your email, so if you could, I mean, you know, I'll be more than willing to assist in whatever I need to do.
Yeah, I was just asking. Yeah, I was just asking Teresa to follow up to try to get a message, try to get a pulse of the community and what they're thinking, just because Teresa has the email list with the most people. So before we would do it as that messaging, I would just kind of want to know, again, I think there's a broad part of the community, and she's already sent out one thing that doesn't really realize what's happening yet, and that precinct is in danger. So I was just asking her to follow up just on the basis of trying to get the pulse and the thinking of what people think about those maps. But yeah, I'm happy to connect, and we can try to put something together. But I would just like to hear from the broader community on their initial thinking about those maps. Because I'm not really sure
also,
what they
let me
know.
just say this real quickly. October the 18th, they will be having a general meeting with the community to hear. It's a public forum, and so I behoove everyone who can October the 18th to get on that call and to make sure that you sign up to say something. You have to sign up to speak to the city on the issues that we're having. So believe me, October 18th, write that down and go on their website, because that's one of the ways that you can say, no, you know, we don't want this. So just remember that they had a meeting on the 5th, but now they have another on the 18th.
Yeah, Charlene, I put my email in the field. I don't know how much I can do, but I definitely am happy to show up and be supportive supportive of any joint messaging efforts and coordination. So I'd love to talk.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Okay, it's 10 minutes later. It's time to finish up. Thank you. I will include the links and the dates for the public input on this, and hopefully you guys have exchanged emails, and if you had something up, let us know. Shirley, you look like you're ready to
Teresa.
speak.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
I know, I was about to say Dr. Blanche may want to check her chat. Looks like she's got an incorrect phone number there. It's got about a little more, too many digits. You might want to check that.
Okay. I'll give you a second to do that, Dr. Penn. Okay, there we go. I see it.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, chaps, thank you. Thank you very much. And we will, I'm trying to figure out where that noise is coming from. All right, we'll see you next month. And in the meantime, watch for some follow-up emails. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.